can't challenge, but they are going to initiate a challenge. For the moment, Ricardo Dieguez has a hat trick. We'll see if this one stands or not.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Under Review, the most debated decisions in the Major Arena Soccer League. My name is Phil Ivanko. That is the head of officials for the MASL, Ryan Sigich. And viewers, I care about you too much to give you a Jim Moore impression.
Playoffs.
And Ryan, we begin today's show with the most controversial play of the weekend, Florida versus Baltimore. Ricardo Dieguez thinks he scored a goal to give the Tropics a 3-2 lead, a pivotal goal in this playoff matchup, but the play goes to review and it is deemed a foul earlier in the play by Mike Jones on Jake Schindler. Ryan, why don't you take us through this play?
Well, Phil, so what we have here is Mike Jones slides in and makes contact with the ball with his right foot. But then with his left foot, there's a clear secondary motion that kicks Schindler. I mean, this is a foul. There's been a lot of different opinions on this one, but in my opinion, this 100% is a foul. So the next decision becomes, did the foul have a direct impact on the goal being scored? Or as we say, is it part of the attacking phase of play? And we have about 8 seconds go by before a goal is scored as Florida takes 2 shots on goal, both stopped by Vanzella before the third one goes in. And I think this is where the controversy comes in. It was our judgment at the time that even though it was in the defensive half of the field, that the foul took out the Baltimore defender of play. And even though a goal wasn't scored until the third attempt, there was not a change of possession. So I recognize this is a tough call to make in this type of game. I mean, ideally, we want to get this called in real time, not on VR. And it's definitely a no-win situation as a referee because, 50% of the people here are going to be very upset. And I think that's what makes this controversial. But it's a clear foul.
I agree, Ryan. This is definitely a foul. The phase of play has not changed over. This is a good call by the referees. On to Tacoma for another controversial goal disallowed during the play-in game of the Western Conference between Mesquite and Tacoma. Felipe Sousa thinks he scored the third goal for Tacoma. Play goes to review, and broadcasters Andrew and Peyton do a great job of explaining what we're looking at here. The goal is called off because it is deemed that Pollo Cortez has his hand on the ball, and that is considered a covered ball, if I'm using the right terms, Ryan.
I mean, this is the tough one too, I think, Phil, because the question here, does the goalkeeper have possession of the ball? So in our rules, we define possession as a 1 second at least. However, if you look at the FIFA futsal, they define possession as the goalkeeper with any contact on it. So, in live play, this is called a goal. The play goes to VR, and then the goal is disallowed. Phil, I mean, I got to tell you, my referee crew isn't going to be real happy with me on this one, but I just don't see this as goalkeeper possession. I mean, he does get his left hand on the ball, but for me, it's just a fraction of a second. I think if we slow this down and look at this one over and over again, you can easily talk yourself into goalkeeper possession. But looking at this in game speed, for me, it's just not goalkeeper possession. Personally, I would not have disallowed this goal.
Jumping to the Eastern Conference play-in game between Kansas City and Utica. Boy, this was an entertaining game. It started off right in the first quarter. Rion Marquez thinks he scored the opening goal for Kansas City, but the play goes to review for a foul earlier in the phase of play for a potential foul from Marquez on Stefan Mijatovic around the boards. Ryan, I agree with this overturned decision. I think this is a foul on Marquez from everything you've taught me about player safety around the board.
Yeah, Phil, this one is pretty clear cut, and it's an example of VR saving the day, as the goal cannot be allowed to stand on, this particular one. So it's a good decision there by Butler and Miller to take this goal back.
Staying in Utica for the play-in game, we've got a review on a mass confrontation in the corner. Double blue card awarded here. One to Neto for charging, and another one here to Somov of Utica for a trip.
Well, okay, Phil, but I think, we got to back up a little bit. I think the first decision here for Butler and Miller is, does Neto foul the attacker inside the penalty area? I mean, I looked at this, I slowed it down, and I think no. I think Neto makes contact with the ball. So play continues. Then we have the Utica attacker there, comes from distance, misses the ball, trips Kansas City. That's judged to be a 2-minute power play blue card. But then, of course, we have Neto coming out of the penalty area, gets in the face, chest bumps, the Utica player there. So he's also given a blue card, which nullifies the power play, and we restart with the 4-on-4. So I think that part, this was done well.
Ryan, I'm glad you brought up that Nate Bordeaux Neto challenge in the box here, because I disagree with you. I think this is a penalty for Utica and a foul on Neto. I freeze the play right here, and in my opinion, I think Neto gets Bordeaux's foot and not the ball. If I was on the turf, I would have called a penalty for Utica there.
Okay.
Matchup now between the San Diego Sockers and Mesquite Outlaws. We're at game 1 in Mesquite. And Ryan, why don't you real quick explain the shootout call on Boris Pardo to give Mesquite their only goal of the game?
Yeah, this is a good call. Pardo comes out, misses the ball, trips the Mesquite attacker. It's totally the last offender, denies an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. 2-minute blue card, power play, and shootout.
One more from this series, Outlaw Sockers. This time, we're in the Pechanga Arena. 5-0 Sockers, third quarter. And this one is given a blue card and a shootout for the Outlaws. Ryan, real quick here, why is this one a blue card and a shootout for the Outlaws?
Mesquite, number 70, he gets inside position on Pino. Possession of the ball, he's going to goal, and then, Pino very subtly just trips him with his left foot. I think this is a great call by referee 24 there, Austin Saney, because this could have easily been missed. So it is a blue card. It's a reckless. He just kicks him. And then I don't have a shootout here. Even though it's from behind, there is possession. I see another defender that is at minimum level with play that's very close in.
2 handballs to close the show out here. First one, back to Lakeland for the game between the Blast and the Tropics. We've got 2 phases here that we have to review on this Patrick Thompson handball. The first one is whether or not it is actually a handball. I think it is. I think he's got that chicken wing out and it hits him in the back elbow. Now, the second one, Ryan, the one that I want you to talk about, is whether or not this one was deemed to be in the box or out.
Yes, Phil. So shot on goal taken. We do have a handball. As you said, his arm is away from his body. He's making himself bigger, and he stops a shot on goal. If you notice here, though, it took quite a bit of time to stop play because we have the referees here. We're talking to each other. Like, we both sensed that there was a handball, and we're like, do you have a handball? I think I have one. So then we stop play and go to VR, and we judge it as just outside of the penalty area. It does stop a shot on goal, as I mentioned, so that's why it's a blue card 2-minute power play due to that fact.
Last one for this show, same series, Tropics and Blast. Now, Ryan, this is a little bit of a callback to an episode before we had where we've talked about your sliding hand. And there's language in the laws that says your sliding hand cannot be deemed a handball if the ball hits the hand that's bracing you as you're going to ground. But you've argued before as well that if it makes you bigger, if it's used as a shield, it can be a handball. So, Ryan, this is a difficult one, and that's why I love putting it on the show. What is your opinion on this call, which ended up being waved off? No handball.
Well, what you're referring to, Phil, is something that in referee language we call a support arm. And what that means is that when a player slides and goes to ground, he is permitted to support his body with his arm. And I think that's exactly what we have happening here. Donatelli goes to ground, and then his left arm is on the ground. There is contact with the ball, but this is not judged as a violation due to the fact that I just referenced. Also, in the past, we've talked about ones that have been a shot on goal that created a barrier to stop the ball, but it's not the case here. So this decision was correct. This is no handball.
That's it for this episode of Under Review. And Ryan, our eyes and ears are open to all of these playoff games in the Major Arena Soccer League. And I'm looking at you there, Mr. Elston in San Diego. I heard your shout out to our show. Thank you for watching. As always, Ryan, we're going to be back next week with the next series of playoff games. I saw them in the Dropbox already, so I know you're looking forward to reviewing them already.